You know, people ask all the time, why do manufacturers always bury all the windows overlooking the neighbor's side of the campsite? I don't want to look at their campsite. I want to look at my site. And it's hard to do, but Grand Design did it. And I don't say this very often. From a floor plan perspective, this RV, I feel, is like nearly perfect. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here with Bish's RV, and that big P word, that perfect word, that is not a word that I throw around often. And I'll never call anything 100% dead on. There's a couple little nitpicks that I have with this RV, but from the perspective of a floor plan, I feel this thing is almost flawless in its execution for the goals that it is trying to accomplish, giving us super slide, giving us big space, but giving us door side windows. But the thing is, as you go, the way that they accomplish this, which is not easy, by the way, because I've dabbled with floor plan design, when you start mucking with A to B to C, knee bone to leg bone stuff, it gets messy, and it gets messy very quickly. They created something that has the best functioning travel mode I've seen in a super slide camper ever in the history of my career. You know, we've got awesome features like a true queen bed. We are carpetless. We are ventless flooring. They have a very respectable hot cold camp package considering the classification of RV that we're looking in right here. And really, I think that that's like pretty much one of the only knocks that you can throw against this camper, is that you know, maybe you might prefer something that's aluminum framed or laminated. And I do believe there's a couple floor plans like that out there. It's early in the morning. I'm not caffeinated, so I'm not remembering one of those offhand. I know normally I just spout model numbers off left and right, but this thing is phenomenal. Now, I will say this about it. I hope you like a brown decor, because if you like brown, then you're gonna like this. If you don't, you're gonna be mad. And it's like, conceptually, this floor plan seems like a no-brainer, but I'm telling you, if you sit down to actually start designing floor plans, this is hard to pull off properly. They've done a very good job of it, and I think the secret in the sauce is what they did with the kitchen. We're going to come back to that. First, I want to focus on this nice, big, open living, but what's interesting is it looks and it feels extremely open in here, but it's actually a smaller slide than even most super slide RVs that normally give us, you know, like a sofa and a dinette. And I think it's because, you know, you have a taller ceiling overall, since this is not all shoved inside of a slide. Once again, this is all over here on the door side. And since I have all these big windows over here, personally, I don't even think I mind that that's a frosty glass window in the door. If I'm going to have a window in the door, I prefer to have a full viewing window and a shade personally. If you're not going to do a shade, do the frosty glass privacy window like you've done right here. I think this is an excellent execution, and that's probably something you're going to hear me say over and over and over again on this floor plan. Now, I kind of just let the camper guide me. I didn't intend to get spun around like a record baby right here. But let's slowly twist you back around. Now, first thing I want to tell you is when you look at this dinette, if you're not a fan of this dinette back, the good news is they are reversible. So kind of like the entire floor plan has been flipped. If you want to, you can flip this over that way. Now, when you do it with two hands and you tuck it in a little bit more nicely, it looks a bit better. But that's how simple it is. So, you know, you have your choice in a sense of kind of two decors without needing two decors. Now, we're 6.5 foot tall inside. That's one of the only areas I personally would like something to be a little bit bigger, but that I can deal with it. Like, so I duck a little bit in the shower on this one sometimes, no big deal. 14,500 BTU, bigger Furrion Air standard from the factory. I don't know why I'm doing this over here, but this is the shape my hand's going in right now. And this is interesting to me. Tell me what you think about this. So this sofa straight across from the entertainment center is very nice, but as you see, that is a trifold sleeper sofa. And sure, that's cool, because this is like a couple's model for the most part. And if you want some guests, it's nice to have a big guest sleeper, because the dinette, frankly, is not the most friendly, conducive thing to guest sleeping. But tell me, looking at this, it's not just begging for a theater seat. And here's the really weird part. And this is what I want to feed back to Grand Design, because I think this is an oversight, but I think it's an easy fix. If you look at the option sheet, they don't offer theater seating on this model, but they do other models. That seems very weird to me, and I don't know why that is, because usually hide beds and theater seats are interchangeable. Me personally, I wouldn't turn this down. There's not, like, that sofa still sits better than a jackknife sofa, but to me, this is straight across from the entertainment center, which, by the way, is a TCL Roku smart TV, so I can sit there streaming my Netflix and my Hulu and whatnot. If you look at it, you're going, oh man, that's begging for a fireplace. And that would be a nice place for a little bunion burner for sure. But the fact is, in the Transcend series, they're a little more price sensitive. That's not the kind of ritzy glitzy stuff that, like, they tend to save that a little bit more for, say, like Imagine and Reflection. So that's one of those things that's not available here. I'm slipping. I got wet shoes. I just about took a digger right there. It sounded like an NBA basketball court for a second with my feet. Look at this. This is something I always like to showcase on these, because that's a straight line. That's a straight line. And to get this to match, they had to mount everything very nicely and properly square. Little detail fit and finishes like that. That's the kind of stuff that, like, you see in person, but don't always show up in camera. You notice how, like, their cabinet doors aren't, like, a little crooked, a little janky. They really nail that thing in here. And this is easy cleaning. Like, if you camp at a place that has, like, a bunch of, say, like, leaves or sand or grit or on the ground or something like that, there's no carpet, there's no vents in the floor. They use side cabinet ducted heating, and even the kitchen is, it's a little toe kick slide, which is one of the only kind of dings that somebody might have against it. Remember, I said this is near perfect. I've still never claimed I found the perfect RV, but there's some that are really darn close for their execution. So that little toe kick means you might be leaning forward a little bit to get to the stove. I don't think you spend a lot of time directly leaning over it, but that is a thing to maybe consider, depending on what you're going to use the RV for. Because it has a great kitchen. This thing also has, oh my gosh, an amazing bathroom. Look at this back here. I love the fact that they didn't go with, like, a double sink, because whenever I see manufacturers do, like, a corner thing like this, a lot of them like to think it's very cute to do a double lavatory, a double sink, but look at this triple medicine cabinet thing right here. And depending on how you organize those mirrors, you can do that thing where, like, you can see yourself from every uncomfortable angle, and you know, your well-trained eye just starts nailing all those little personal imperfections, as it were. Remember, 6.5 foot tall ceiling means my head's going to be in that bubble a little bit, but the leg room, the hip room, the shoulder room around that toilet, holy cow. This is a personal preference thing. I dislike, personally, open storage like this, and especially on this cabinet. There's nothing blocking it. To me, I would rather have doors here, or at least maybe those little mesh net things, something to keep stuff in there in transit, because this is the back of the RV. This stuff's going to bounce a little more. Towels are probably going to stay in place. That's likely not going to be a big deal. And you notice they went with a rectangular shower instead of a radius shower, which just does a lot to help you with elbow room. But once again, this is big. This is wide open. You know, I don't think they were going for, like, ADA compliance. And there's a couple somewhat tight points in here. I'm not saying this floor plan is, like, super wheelchair friendly, but man, that is very close to being an ADA compliant bathroom, isn't it? Now, sliding out of the bathroom here, taking a look at all the various storage. Again, the living space, the door side windows, those are awesome hallmarks of this floor plan. What kind of happened, though, is, intentionally or not, they created an awesome kitchen on this. One of the other little picky points, I'm not a big fan of pedestal table legs because I'm a long-legged, clumsy dude. And you might notice some lights turning off right there. That is because this has motion lighting by the entry door and in the pantry that we'll see in just a minute. But those pedestal table legs, they're not extremely difficult to switch out. Frankly, a couple seconds and a screw gun, and you're good to go. Now, one of the benefits that goes very unsung in a stick and tin camper build is very easy to run wiring through the walls. So putting appliance outlets where they are far easier to reach and use is a serious benefit of this style of construction. Our countertops are all sealed edge pressed membrane. You've got a big farm sink right there. The Explorer series, I don't believe comes with sink covers, but again, that's not a, well, those little rollaway dish drying racks. It's just easy stuff that, you know, you could pick up, we could get for you, whatever the case may be. Wastebasket space below the sink, all kinds of shelving, drawers galores over here, including one under the refrigerator, and you have your choice on that, by the way. What we're looking at here is a 12-volt DC compressor fridge, which is my personal preference, and the RV does come with 165 watts of factory solar to help compensate for that. Again, help compensate, not completely compensate. There's a very key difference in that, and I'm not going to, you know, overpromise and underdeliver this. But you do have a choice also of a gas-electric two-way fridge, and just like we saw by the entry door, you also have motion lighting there for that pantry. But, I mean, look at all the big storage, all the stuff they accomplished. And then when you tuck it all away, it just feels so clean and unassuming. Where's the camera? You know, folks, that's just the week that I've been having. I enjoy my job. I'm having a good time. I'm not whining here. What I have are truly first world problems. I'm a blessed and fortunate person, and gratitude is great. But left my gloves at the hotel that I checked out of this morning. Hopefully they find them and mail them to me. I left them the information to do so. Left my phone charger at the airport. Just all kinds of crap. Forgot my umbrella for this trip, and it's raining the next 3 days, but thankfully the local team. Ooh, hey, how about that? Taking a shine to the Drunken Octopus Fight Club. Look at that guy. He is rough and ready and looking for a fight. Now, a couple little nice detail features here. We have a just a single switch for the overhead lights in here, which is nice. Now, the switch above the bed, you notice not all the lights went off. That you can reach from bed, so that's on its own separate thing. Household and USB outlets on both sides of the bed. The TV location in the bedroom is a little off, but I mean, I don't think this is a floor plan where a lot of people are like, man, I can't wait to get in the bedroom tonight and just watch tons of TV. Also, something else I want to point out, location of the converter box is in a really smart location over here. The location's in a good location. Yeah, I said it. I said what I said. But what I mean is it's not buried behind a slide out in case you have some sort of power failure or anything like that. Now, one of the big things I really like about these, and there's almost nobody else in what you might call a more entry-level class, although even the Explorer series Transcends are fairly swanky like this, a true queen bed. That is a hard find in stick and tin trailers. Jayco's J-Flight, the full flight, is one of the only other ones that does it. Taking a look here, you see you've got your dual hanging closets. Explorer has a cabinet over the, or a shelf over the bed instead of a cabinet. Not my favorite thing, but we do at least have full easy lift storage below the true queen bed here, and notice how it is completely separated from everything in the pass-through, so you don't get a little bit of intermingling of your cargo stuffages, no sir. And remember when I said this RV had like the best possible road mode function? I wasn't lying. Because this is a very rare example of an RV with a slide that is 100% fully accessible and functional in transit. And what I mean by accessible and functional is there's a lot of RVs that when the slides are closed, you can walk through the entire RV, but you can't usually use the stuff in the slide because usually it's seating in the slide and you're not supposed to sit in the slide while it's retracted almost every time. Well, because this one's just a kitchen, you're not like, you know, standing in it. You're not, you know, doing a hacksaw Jim Duggan atomic leg drop or anything like that in here. You can use the kitchen. If you wanted to, you could use the entertainment with the slide closed. I don't know, you know, I don't know that this camper even needs a slide. It just is way, way better when the slide is open. And again, you know, you can walk front to back to front, get back here to this awesome bathroom that this thing has. They just, they figured out a way to crack the code on this one. They broke the mold. With my hood up this morning, I look like Emperor Palpatine. Something, something, something dark side. Something, something, something complete. Force lightning! And I tell you, one of the things I like about these, they use a different style of metal on the exterior, and I don't know that it really does anything better. It just, to me, aesthetically, visually, I like the look of it. I like the linear lines. It's not full of Nike Adidas swooshes. And you know, there's nothing wrong with those things. Different strokes for different folks. This just really speaks to me. The very neutral color palette, this thing is like in pure gray tone. It's gonna look good with pretty much any vehicle in front of it. I know some people like to match that stuff up. Magnet hold back here, so if you're clumsy like me, don't gotta worry about that bonking you on the head. And they're not the only ones now doing these little wet bays, but in a stick and tin trailer, it's rare, although East to West is actually pretty good about that. That's something else that we carry a lot of at Bish's. And a large front pass-through, and notice they're using the big doors on both sides, which is something I really like. All LED tail and marker lights, and actually, as long as I am up close and personal like this, let me get you down here below the skirt line, because what you're going to see is, you know, it's all enclosed, but a lot of trailers do that. Thing is, it's a fully enclosed belly. It's not just enclosed holding tanks, which is pretty common in this class. And actually in this class, not everybody does any level of enclosure, so kind of keep that in mind. And they do it standard, but not only that, it is also forced air heated, and they have their radiant barrier package through the belly, across the roof, over the river, and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Long story short, this is one of, if not maybe the best heating, cooling, insulated kind of camper available within this class. So that is a huge feather in the cap of these. They also do some different things, like they use a different type of sealant material under the corner seams, like where that sidewall meets that front wall. They're using a different type of material that basically doesn't dry rot out over time and leave you with only an exterior seal. So this RV effectively has multiple layers of sealant, helping make sure that you keep the water out of this thing. Now, the number one area for water penetration is always going to be that roof. And the number one failure point up there is always going to be your sealants. So that is where some personal TLC always makes the difference. Standard power tongue jack, so you're taking the tennis elbow out of it, because I ain't no Steffi Graf. I know that's hard to believe. When you look at me in the mirror, you're like, wow, I thought that was Steffi Graf for a minute. But no, I'm not. I'm Josh the RV nerd. I know, it's crazy, right? And look at the location of the awning. The door is dead in the middle of this thing, which is really nice, so that on a spritzy day like today, you're not getting blasted in the face. Now, they've stuck with the anti-slip aluminum plank steps here, which is actually very friendly for travel stops, because you can't always put those big stable steps down. What was it? Oh, if you want to upgrade to those stable steps, we can certainly do that. Now, I'm wrestling with a big giant umbrella today between these trailers, so apologies if I'm right up in this thing's face. Outside TV hookups right there. As we roll around the back corner here, we're going to be greeted with a roof ladder, which a lot of manufacturers have either just not been able to supply, or some manufacturers have actually totally removed their rear ladder prep from the walls entirely. So there are some trailers out there now that used to be ladder capable that no longer are. And as you can see, that is not a problem we have here. They have stepped up and made sure that they're maintaining that 250-pound rating, which I'm going to call American-sized, because I don't know about you, I seem to be just, I'm gaining the poundage. And as you can see from this like entire line of these things here, we've got a factory roof solar package now, new for 22. This is a 165 watt package, which is going to be basically it'll maintain your battery, run your lights and your fans during the day. Now, obviously, that's going to be subject to weather conditions on a beautiful London day like we're looking at right here, which is funny because London actually doesn't get that bad of weather. Frankly, this looks more like maybe, say, Seattle weather or something like that. You're going to be getting less sun. Now, you're not getting zero sun, but you're getting less sun. So, you know, this is not something to be intended as the be-all, end-all of solar. And if you're going to be boondocking and you got that 12-volt fridge like we looked at here, you're going to want to bulk up on some solar or have like a small little portable inverter generator to be able to top things off. And you know, obviously by virtue of the fact that I'm up here, yeah, they've got a walkable roof. Now, couple all that up with some of the industry's best after-sales support. If you get on Grand Design owners forums, you know, I'll never say that any brand is perfect. I'll never say that they're without sin. But if you look at the actual, like, somebody reports they have a problem, and then they report that they got it fixed, you don't usually see that, and they say, wow, Grand Design really stepped up. They just sent me the part straight away. I didn't have to go mucking through this, that, or the other thing. Like, they are fantastic about taking care of both their dealerships and their owners, which is why you hear a lot of dealers glow about these things, even when there's a whole bunch of other things laying around. They are very quickly earning my respect, and I think that if you got a chance to experience one of these, you'd see what I mean. So maybe it's not quite as tall inside as some. Maybe you'd prefer a laminated build instead of stick and tin, although they're doing a good job of it. You know, maybe a couple little things, but in terms of the execution of this model, I don't feel there's a lot of denying. They crushed this thing. I'm very impressed. So I encourage you, though, always visit a dealership. Try one of these on for size like a pair of pants and see how they fit you. Just because it fits me doesn't mean it's going to fit you, you know? So when you're ready, we're ready. We don't do hidden dealer fees. We just do everything else. I will leave you a link where you can see where we have one of these in stock and available. Grand Design's policies prevent me from sharing pricing either on our website or verbally in a video like this as a dealer. So apologies for the inconvenience there. I do have to ask you to call for a price from our team. That is not something I like to do. But when you're ready, we're ready. We'd be happy to assist you. So until then, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.